Mark your calendars now, as April 16th is expected to be a very memorable day for millions of people who receive government benefits such as Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA. Prepare yourself as a $2,000 stimulus check is on its way. In this video, we'll go over every detail related to this thrilling news. Let's first discuss why this is occurring in light of the continuous difficulties that many people are experiencing, such as rising costs or unforeseen obligations. For individuals and families who depend on these benefits to make ends meet, these checks provide a much-needed boost. Now, let's explore how these payments can benefit many. For many, it's a relief to know that there's a little extra money coming in to cover necessities like groceries, rent, or medical bills. We'll talk with experts who can explain why these checks are beneficial for everyone, from boosting consumer spending to supporting the economy as a whole. The ripple effects of these payments extend far beyond just the recipients. Some may view it as a chance to finally treat themselves to something they've been putting off or to catch up on overdue payments. Put dates on your calendars. On April 16, 2024, retirees and disability beneficiaries may receive an unexpected $2,000 check. This date marks a significant financial boost for millions of Americans receiving Social Security Supplemental Security Income, SSI, Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, or VA benefits, aiming to give additional support to vulnerable populations like seniors and people with disabilities who have been particularly hard hit by rising costs for necessities like food, housing, and healthcare. Congress approved this one-time $2,000 payment late last year as part of a larger economic relief package. The $2,000 payments will go to anyone receiving Social Security retirement benefits, including retirement survivors and spousal supplemental security income. As of March 31, 2024, qualifying payments for Social Security Disability Insurance, SSI, Veterans Administration, VA, disability compensation, and pensions will be available to both individual recipients and married couples if both spouses receive them. The intended payment mechanism for the checks is the same one that beneficiaries now use to receive their normal monthly benefits on April 16, 2024. For the most part, no additional paperwork or applications will be needed for Social Security. The $2,000 payment will significantly improve the financial situation of SSI, SSDI, and VA beneficiaries. A married couple receiving average benefits would receive a 133% rise in total yearly income, while a single Social Security retiree receiving an average monthly payment of $1,500 would see a gain of almost 11%. A soldier getting $100 in VA disability benefits would see a roughly 15% boost in income, while an SSDI beneficiary receiving a $1,300 monthly payout would receive a 12.5% gain. For these vulnerable people, the additional $2,000 might significantly improve their quality of life and allow for the payment of essential bills. Of course, the $2,000 checks have also sparked political debate. Proponents argue that the targeted one-time nature of the relief effort is justified given the disproportionate impact of high inflation on seniors, the disabled, and veterans living on fixed federal incomes, while critics contend the program is an irresponsible use of taxpayer money that could exacerbate inflation. In the end, the initiative seems to have bipartisan support as a practical intervention to offer direct financial support to some of the most economically disadvantaged Americans, and the $2,000 checks are a substantial windfall for those who qualify. It's critical to realize that these are one-time payments rather than a continuous raise in monthly benefit levels. You will continue to receive your normal VA, Social Security, SSI, and SSDI payments after you receive the $2,000 check. The full $2,000 can be used however the beneficiary sees fit, including paying down debts, treating oneself and one's family, or covering increased living expenses. The IRS has confirmed that the $2,000 checks will not be counted as taxable income, so recipients don't have to worry about owing any additional taxes on this money. It is ultimately up to each beneficiary to determine how to best use the $2,000, depending on their particular requirements and circumstances. In essence, the $2,000 is supposed to provide beneficiaries greater financial flexibility and breathing room to tackle the different problems and expenses they confront. Naturally, not everyone who qualifies for the $2,000 checks will be able to get them without any problems. You should get in touch with the organization that manages your federal benefits if you think you qualify, but the payment hasn't appeared in your account by the end of April. To find out the status of SSI, SSDI, VA payments, they can look into the reasons behind the non-issuance of the payment and take steps to address any issues. The $2,000 checks are conceptually similar to the economic impact stimulus payments issued during the COVID-19 pandemic, and the federal agencies in charge of this program are committed to making sure everyone who is eligible for them receives one. They recognize the significance of this financial assistance, particularly for seniors and people with disabilities living on fixed incomes, and will move swiftly to address any delays or errors in the distribution process. There are a few significant variations. The co-ID checks were distributed in multiple rounds over 2020-2021 rather than all at once like this new program. In contrast, the $2,000 checks are specifically targeted at Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and VA beneficiaries, a population that was not always the main focus of the previous COVID relief payments. The co-ID checks were sent to a much broader group of recipients, including all working adults under certain income thresholds, not just federal benefit recipients. This time, the justification is that older people, people with disabilities, and veterans receiving fixed federal incomes have been disproportionately affected by the recent high rate of inflation and require more assistance to maintain their financial security and independence. Naturally, there will be more discussion about the political ramifications of the $2,000 checks. Proponents will call for the program's success if it offers significant relief, while opponents, the hefty cost of more than $200 billion, is also certain to draw criticism from those concerned about fiscal discipline. Proponents of similar types of direct cash aid may use any perceived disadvantages or unforeseen consequences to argue against them in the future. In the end, the $2,000 checks are just the most recent development in a continuing discussion about the appropriate scope and role of the federal government in supplying a social safety net. This discussion touches on important issues regarding individual liberty, economic policy, and the responsibilities of the state to its most vulnerable residents. Despite the political discussions and complaints surrounding the $2,000 checks, this topic will surely be a political flashpoint for some time to come, given the high stakes and strong passions on both sides. As the April 16th distribution date approaches, the Social Security Administration, SSA, the Veterans Administration, VA, and other pertinent federal agencies are working hard to ensure a smooth rollout. They will be proactively communicating with beneficiaries in the coming weeks to verify their contact information and payment preferences are up to date. The program is still on track to provide a much-needed financial boost to millions of American seniors, people with disabilities, and veterans in just a few weeks. This advance notice will enable the agencies to promptly address any issues that may arise, such as outdated bank account information that could delay or prevent the payment from being received. For those who do not see the $2,000 hit their accounts by the end of April, their best course of action is to contact the agency overseeing their federal benefits. This advance notice will give people time to make sure their $2,000 check is headed to the right place, whether that's a direct deposit account or a physical mailing address, whether it's the VA for recipients of disability compensation or the SSA for Social Security, SSI, SSDI recipients. As some of the most vulnerable members of our society, seniors, the disabled, and veterans who have already experienced significant financial hardship in recent years, these organizations have committed to looking into any issues and reissuing checks as necessary. They also understand the importance of getting this money into the hands of eligible Americans as quickly and efficiently as possible. For these individuals, $2,000 checks are seen as a vital lifeline that can help ease the burden of skyrocketing inflation on their fixed incomes. For many in this population, just making ends meet is a constant struggle. This one-time boost could significantly improve their quality of life. Of course, the long-term impact will depend on how each beneficiary chooses to use the funds. If it is used primarily for discretionary spending instead of paying off debts or saving money, the benefits may be more fleeting. However, for those who are truly struggling to make ends meet, the $2,000 could be a game changer. It could allow them to finally catch up on past due bills, replenish depleted emergency funds, or make critical home repairs and healthcare investments they've been putting off.